How's it going, Speech 100 class? David Mouton here, and I'm joined by a very special guest of mine. His name is Michael Parr. He's a coworker of mine, and I just brought him here today to ask him a couple questions about some topics that are very dear to us and important to us, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. So, Mike, tell me who you are and tell me a little bit about where you're from.
I'm Aaron Parr. I'm from Lompoc, California, and I do security forces here at Vogelway.
Oh, so I take it you're in the military.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us more about your military background and your experience with law enforcement?
Military background, joined a couple years ago as security forces, went through an academy, do mostly LE here,
Mhm.
and just learned a lot about doing actual police work here.
So when you say LE, that means law enforcement, correct?
Yes,
So I take it that in the career field that you're involved in, there's a split between security work and law enforcement work,
that is correct.
and you would say that you are a law enforcement expert.
Yes.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'm sure that you've recently heard about all the buzz surrounding police brutality in America and the role of police changing in America. Would you care to comment on your thoughts on police brutality in America? Do we have a problem with police brutality in America, in your opinion?
I don't feel we have a problem with police brutality. There are certain instances, as there in with a lot of other things, instances of police brutality. But as far as the problem, no. I think it's just mostly social media and people kind of stepping out of their means of what their education is and realizing what use of force and everything going on is.
Now, when you mention social media, do you feel that the role of social media plays a big factor in the way that police brutality is perceived in America?
I do. It's definitely people like to jump on a bandwagon. They see something, they aren't educated. It also gets chopped up and everything to where you see a certain instance, not the whole actual scenario, what is actually going on.
So, would you say that the majority of Americans who are speaking about the topic of police brutality do not have enough training or education surrounding that topic to give an educated opinion?
That is correct.
You'd say that, correct. Interesting. When it comes to the use of force by police, in your experience as a police officer, do you feel that your fellow officers are properly trained in the use of force, or do you feel that there is a gap between the training and the actual application of the use of force by police officers?
I feel the training is actually really good, really in depth and everything. It's kind of hard in the moment, though. It's kind of a split second decision, and that's also where court cases come from, Gunner's Corner. Definitely have to make rash decisions really fast. It's kind of heat of the moment, so.
Now, you speak about making decisions on the fly, and I feel that that is a very important aspect of police work, the ability to, in the moment, make a split-second decision that can change the situation drastically. In your experience as a police officer, do you find that it is easier or more difficult to make a split-second decision with training or without training?
With training, definitely. They say in the moment you actually revert to your lowest level of training.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you can train, but it's also pretty much how you're going to react to it.
Absolutely. So you'd say that the ability to read a situation and adapt to it and react to it is important for police officers. Now, going back to the social media topic that we discussed earlier, do you feel that proper parenting on the behalf of children, because oftentimes you see with cases such as police brutality, many of the people who are commenting on it or have opinions on it are children themselves. Do you feel that parenting plays a role in a child's perception of authority and of police?
I definitely do. With how everything's going right now, it's a little more liberal. Parenting isn't as strict. Kids can get away with a lot more, especially school-wise. They barely want to suspend people without getting in trouble.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do you think that if parents played a more active role in their children's lives, that we would see less of a disconnect between the lack of authority and the respect for authority that we see in America today?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure having you here with us, Aaron Parr. He's an outstanding police officer, and I appreciate your time and you taking the time out to do this interview with us. I hope that you guys have found this beneficiary to you, and I hope to hear from the rest of you soon.